The desired state and vision. As I mentioned last time, leadership, vision is so critical. A couple of years ago, I had the chance to meet someone that has actually very close associate of State Islam Gaddafi. And as he was telling me about what SAFE's plans for Libya, and he's been put in trust of the Libya Fund, which is about $70 billion, and so he was telling me about these great things. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And I listened, and then I asked him just one simple question. I said, what is SAFE's vision for Libya? And I don't think he expected that question, and he did not have an answer. And then after a little hesitation, he said, he won't make it like Dubai. And I immediately knew that I think we're in a mess here. There's something missing. Because I wish to hear from him that maybe in 20 years we have 2 Nobel Prize winners coming out of Libya, or we maybe have 10 Olympians, or we be maybe one of the highest violinists or musicians in the world, or something like that. But instead I've heard that we want to be like Dubai, which is, again, the thinking was about state building, not a nation building. So we have to think hard, by the way, and this really goes for all the Libyans today, as you think of Libya. What do you want Libya to be 50 years from now? Attitude, behavior, and culture. We all know Gaddafi and the people around him damaged Libya, big way. But then I go back and say, what did we do as Libyans? There are things that we Libyans can do. I go to many places in the world, and I go to very poor communities as I visit markets just to look at who uses our products. And I'll tell you, I am embarrassed every time I go to Libya. I am embarrassed when I walk in the mosques and how filthy they are, and I'm sorry to say that. I walk in in churches, I walked in synagogues, and I can see the difference. And it's about people, it's not a government. It's not a government. I worked in Egypt, and I've seen the filth, the same thing. I had a mosque, a jana in the factory that I had. And I brought the people, and I really made a big deal. And I changed it. And changed the walls, the carpets, cleaned it up. And I said, no, you people, please, please, this is your place of worship. Clean it up and keep it clean. Unfortunately, it's in our religion, but we don't follow it. And I think we don't have to hide under the rug and say we don't see it. Filth is everywhere. And it's not in our values or our principles, and yet it's there. And it's about the individual. Gaddafi, even if he's a good person, he cannot go in all corners of Libya and clean it up. Individuals and communities need to do that. And the pride and attitude about the country. Do we treat it as someone else's country or our own country? And how we take care of it. Celebrating diversity. I'm borrowing a little bit here from your field, and I hope I don't torture it, but when I think about the human body, it consists of a lot of different types of cells. As a matter of fact, it's not just the cells in our bodies, the brain cells, the heart cells, and the muscles that give us the motor functions and all of that. But yet, there are more bacteria on our bodies and our bodies than there are cells in our bodies. And I know in our professions, your profession, my profession, food, we always be careful about contamination of bacteria, and you are the same. And yet, we ignore the fact that if bacteria that is in our bodies and on our bodies isn't there, we will not survive. That bacteria is serving a very important function. If the brain cell tells the heart cell, you're just a stupid thing, you're just pumping blood around and doing nothing else, that brain is not going to last long. The point is, in a society, in a place like Libya, we have people from all walks of life. We have to embrace people, no matter how different they are from us. No matter how they think differently, we have to embrace them. If we don't do that, it will be like a chicken farm. I don't know if you're familiar, I use example from my field. A chicken farm, if you get a contamination, the entire flock will be wiped out in a matter of hours. And the reason is because they're clones. Chickens are clones. Every single chicken is exactly like the other one. And therefore, it's so dangerous if you get a contamination. If you walked any time in a chicken farm, by the way, you have to walk through the lye, and they have to wear special boots, and because they're worried about that. In a matter of hours, you can wipe off an entire population of millions of chickens if you don't take care for, because they don't have the diversity. They're clones. Degree of separation and networking. Now this can be dangerous and can be great. Degree of separation, the way it's translated in Libya, you go to someone you know and they will pave the road for you. Wasta. Right? And it works very well. But if degree of separation, if done well, it means basically how many layers you have in an organization. How difficult it is to reach to the person that actually can have an impact on what you need to do. And there's another video that I'll show you later, but the example that I shared with you, in the United States, the rule of thumb, the degree of separation are 7. So if you go, for example, in a big company, between the lowest level in the organization to the highest level, there are 7 layers. There are countries out there that have only 2 layers. So meaning it's a flat organization. Everyone can reach anyone and they can get things done. So when you have lower degree of separation, you can make things happen. But we need to be careful. It isn't that you know someone that paved the road even against the law. That would be wrong. Sharing experience, creating legacy, and mentoring. I know this is maybe a morbid thing to say, but there is something we say here in the United States. What would you like to have written on your tombstone when you're gone? It's about the legacy. Do you want to be remembered for the millions you made? Do you want to be remembered for the titles? Or do you want to be remembered for something else? And what is that? And companies, leaders in countries, if their thinking is about, like I take a company example. If my thinking is about creating profit this year so I can get my bonus, all I can do is short-term plans that can guarantee that my bonus will be there. Same thing, if I am a leader, like Majda reminds me sometimes, there was a building in Libya, a big tower, and Gaddafi said, it's September 1st and we want the building to be finished, and apparently what they did, they just put the glass in the facade and the inside was empty, there's nothing else. So you look from the outside, look beautiful and great tower, and inside there was nothing. So yeah, you can be remembered for that big brick tower, but there's really no substance behind it. So I guess, again, it's so important. So that creating the legacy is so important. And I look at it personally, today, like in my job, I'm fortunate and I'm blessed that I run my career the way I wanted it. And today, I don't have any other ambitions other than leaving a legacy. And my legacy is like, how many people can I train? So now I train them so they train others that they can train others. And that's a legacy. So here in your community, there are students, there are young professionals who are starting their lives. The question is, you look around you and say, can I pave the road for someone so they can succeed in their career so they can make someone else successful? Now, if you think around, I say this for myself. There are people that are not related to me, I didn't pay them any money or give them any favors, and yet they believed in me, they paved roads for me, they gave me opportunities and made me the person I am today. And I am very grateful to these people today. And I want to make sure that I can do the same for others. And it's really an important thing for us and as an organization and as a country to think about the legacy. What do we want to be remembered for?